How to find trigonometric function values using a calculator. Alright, so the first thing you got to do is, of course, get a calculator. Alright, and so the calculator I'm using is the one that's built into my computer. So I just took a little screenshot here. Okay, so this is the typical calculator on a Windows PC, and I converted it to scientific mode. You can do that by clicking on this button and going to scientific if yours looks a little different. It should look something like this. Okay? Alright. Then the next thing is, since we look up here and it says find the cosine of 117 degrees, we have to make sure that our calculator is in the degrees mode. There's also another mode called radians mode. Okay, and that's slightly different. So we got to make sure it's here. So on my calculator, it says deg right here, and if it wasn't, it would probably say rad for radians. Okay, so you're gonna want to have to find that option on whichever calculator you're using. Okay, and make sure that, remember, if you have the degree symbol, that you're in the degrees mode. Okay, then what we need to do is, then this is what's weird. With some calculators, you put the trig function first, then you type the number, and then on others you put the number and then you write the trig function. Okay, so on the calculator that I used on the Windows machine, I actually had to type the number first. Okay, even though it shows it, if you can see right here, cosine of 117 degrees here, I actually typed 117 and then I found cosine. Now, as you can see on this screenshot, there is no visible cosine button. So on some calculators it'll be visible. You just see sine, or sin, and then you'll see a cosine button, a cos, and then a tangent, which will be tan, tan. You'll see those buttons, and they'll be like specific buttons. But other calculators, like the one I'm using, they're not given specific buttons that are always visible. So what I had to do is I had to click in here in this trigonometry button, and then they popped up, and then I hit cosine. So in this calculator, I put 117, then I hit this button, and then I hit cosine, and then it gave me this super long decimal. Okay? And the last thing we need to do is then round our answer according to the question or according to what your teacher says. Alright, so in this question, it specifically says round it to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so the hundredth is, remember, the second place to the right of the decimal right here. So then I say rounds to negative 0 and 45 hundredths, or 0.45. Okay? And that's it. That completes our problem.